they have done it.
Good evening. I had to check my microphone was on. Good evening, everybody. What a night. I'm not used to doing post-match games when Newcastle win. I tend to come on and go, "Oh, that was disappointing, wasn't it?" But what a fantastic result tonight! What a performance from the team on a night where the goals have gone bonkers in the Champions League. 6s and 7s. Newcastle, not to be outdone, have just put 3 past Benfica. A Jose Mourinho Benfica as well, who it was said they would be tight. It would be difficult. It would be a low-scoring game. It didn't turn out that way. A really, really good night. I feel like I'm finished already. Thanks, everyone. No, before we get there, I'll run through my notes of the game. Thank you for getting involved. I can see that there's already 150 people in the chat already, so that blown my mind straight away. So thank you very much for getting involved. I will try and keep up with some of the chat as well. I apologize if I don't get through as many, but we will get stuck into this straight away. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. Please drop a like on the video as well, on the live. It does bring more people into it, so please drop that like. Thank you again for everybody that's got involved and supported the channel as we've gone along. So yes, let's get stuck into this one. So the lineups for tonight, there were 3 changes obviously for Newcastle, as Lewis Miley, Jacob Ramsey and Jacob Murphy came into the side for Joelinton Tonali and Anthony Elanga. I think the Benfica side was pretty much as expected. I'd have to go back and watch Chris's preview again. I did edit it as well. I think that's pretty much the side that we sort of thought it would be. Set up very much to kind of almost contain and hit on the break and be tight and not overly defensive, but really try and contain Newcastle's threat. And boy, did it not work tonight with the sort of opening exchanges. I think the first half, especially, I thought was quite even. The Miley coming into that midfield, I think, allowed Bruno to really be much more of an influence further forward up the field. I thought particularly Bruno today, I thought looked really, really good in that more advanced midfield role. He was able to get into those spaces and play balls through the lines in the defence, particularly between the left centre back and the left back. I thought that was a really positive showing. That bringing in Jacob Ramsey as well for his first start for Newcastle in the Champions League. Again, a really positive sign, a player that really can sort of drive forward. He's bags full of energy. Very, very nearly got an opportunity to get on the score sheet as well in that first half. It was only for a great saving tackle right at the last that prevented him. But yeah, like I say, Miley really clean with the ball in that first half. Didn't give it away. I think he ended up the first half with sort of 92% passing. Really sort of an assured performance from him in that first half. We had the early stages of the game. Burn was a real threat at set pieces as well. Header that was saved by the goalkeeper Trubin early in the half. I think it was in sort of 8th or 9th minute of the game. He then wins another header later on that drops to Bruno, who can't quite get his shot in. Again, another save from the goalkeeper. And at the other end, Nick Pope pulled off a couple of really, really good saves from really Benfica's only threat in Luca Bacchio. Sorry. I was really disappointed with sort of Pavlidis. I really thought he would be a little bit more of a threat. He really didn't offer anything at all tonight. But Luca Bacchio, I thought was very, very good and a really promising player for them for the future. And it was really noticeable that Benfica's sort of tactic of pinging those diagonal balls into the Dan Burn sort of left back area and trying to exploit that. And it worked a couple of times where he was sort of caught under the ball or caught slightly narrow out of position where Luca Bacchio was able to get the ball. And he had one where he got around the back of Burn. Brilliant save from Nick Pope with his left hand at his near post. I mean, that strength and that arm to to be able to keep the ball out and divert it away. He had another good save at his near post for another Luca Bacchio shot, and obviously the shot that Luca Bacchio hits the outside of the post. So it wasn't all one-way traffic tonight. There was a threat from Benfica, and particularly in that first half. And that's what I said. I think it was a really, really even half. Anthony Gordon was really, really bright. His pace 1v1 versus any Benfica defender he was coming up to was I think he was quite frightening for them. End product wasn't quite there first half for him, but he was putting in some good balls that just were out of reach of other players. The opposite side, I thought Jacob Murphy was really effective again, and I think Chris mentioned this at the weekend. That what is it that we want from wingers? It's goals, it's assists, it's crosses, it's delivery into the box, it's affecting the game, it's creating those chances, and that's exactly what those two have done tonight, Gordon and Murphy. And the goal comes in the first half on 32 minutes, and Bruno again in that lovely advanced position from here plays a brilliant ball through the line to Murphy to get in behind the left back, and he puts the ball on an absolute plate for Anthony Gordon to just tap in. And again, Anthony Gordon flying in the Champions League. I just quickly look up. I think is it 4 now he's got in the Champions League. He obviously got 2 against USG. He got 1 against Barcelona, didn't he? So he's got 4 goals. So he's really taken to the competition, and he's kept his performances. Well, why on earth can he not do this on a weekend? That's frustrating. There's a comment that I've seen in the chat as well. But he was excellent tonight. I thought he worked really, really hard. The first half, particularly, you have to say 1v1, he was pushing the ball down that left hand side and really getting beyond the defenders to put the ball in. At the back, Byrne, I think, grew into the game later on. I thought he was much better second half. Trippier I thought was steady. The 2 centre backs I thought were really, really good tonight. Chow booked for a late challenge on Pavlidis in the first half. I don't think anybody can argue with that one. And I thought he sort of recovered from that well. I think he got booked in the 17th minute. So to come through that and to not put a foot wrong for the next 70 odd minutes was really, really good. He looked really assured on the ball. The only drawback and the only negative I really have for that first half, apart from the difficulty with that diagonal ball to the left back area, was Nick Pope's kicking, and it was really noticeable. The one that he puts out straight for a corner, he's put under a bit of pressure and he panics. But the number of times that he goes to put the ball forward, and it just goes to nobody. There's no direction with his kicking. We'll come to his throwing later on, because that's a different story altogether. But that's the only negative I have from the first half. Second half, I was really quiet for the first sort of 5 minutes. He sort of didn't kick into gear until about 51, 52 minutes. And all of a sudden, Newcastle took control again. Walter Mata, who I thought had been quite quiet in the first half, some nice touchy difficulty to get into the game. The defenders, I think, and Antonio Silva, I think, kept him quite tight to him. Really affected his ability to control the ball. But he sort of grew into the game second half. He has that deflected shot that goes out for a corner. I think about 52nd, 53rd minute. And then from the corner, Lewis Miley, oh my goodness. For a lad who's had a really good game tonight, should be burying that header. He gets away from, I think it's Luca Bacchio again at the corner, and he's got a couple of yards worth of space and he can't get his header on target. He really should score, because it's an open goal at that point. And then it became the Newcastle show. Gordon and Ramsey linked well down the left-hand side. Gordon wanted to go wandering. Jacob Ramsey was then really effective on that left-hand side, pushing into the areas that Gordon had left space. There's a run from Gordon sort of around the 55, 60-minute mark where he runs through a huge chunk of the Benfica half, and he's unlucky to overrun the ball as he gets into the area. And then as the follow-up sort of happens, it comes across to the right-hand side. Jacob Murphy then gets into the area and puts a shot across the goal, which Trubin saves really, really well. And And then we get into the sort of the next phase. The substitutions come. 63rd minute, Barnes and Joe Linton come on for Murphy and Ramsey. I thought both had really, really good games tonight. I guess the fresh legs, given the likes of Tonali, who I think hadn't been particularly well. Joe Linton needed a rest, and he sort of put himself about when he came on as well. I thought he wasn't brilliant, but he really got involved in the game. He put himself into tackles. He covered an awful lot of area of the field. He was really effective in battling in that second half as well. There were a couple of incidents in the second half as well. The first one, Bruno, I'm baffled. He pulls the ball sort of down after a corner, I think it is, and he has two defenders on his back, and he sort of turns the ball back through both of them, and one of them's clearly got a hold of his arm as he pulls through and pulls him down. By the looks of things, no VAR check, and no penalty. There was another penalty shout again on Anthony Gordon as he was running into the box. I think this was sort of about the 80th minute, and he's sort of pushed and brought down to the floor. I thought that was potentially another penalty. Maybe it's a little bit soft, but it could have been. And then there was a third one as we're getting into the 80th minute, and Harvey Barnes knocks the ball past the defender and is pulled down. I mean, it could have been three penalties and many, many more goals. As it was, a couple of minutes after that Bruno incident, Harvey Barnes, who had only been on the field for 8 minutes, is the second goal scorer, and we've got to give huge credit to Nick Pope with his Schmeichel-esque throw. He catches the ball from a tame cross, and then you just see Harvey Barnes with a burst of speed. He's not blessed with amazing speed, but he has this burst down the right hand side, and Nick Pope sees it, and he absolutely launches the ball into the Benfica half. Lucky, I guess, that the Benfica defender misjudges it. Harvey Barnes takes a touch, holds off a defender, and puts the ball in. Brilliant goal, brilliant assist, and quite rightly, Nick Pope gets a huge amount of credit for that one. And then a couple more substitutions. Elanga comes on for Gordon and Walter Marder. Standing ovation, by the way, and quite rightly so, because I thought second half they were brilliant. Some of the interplay. Sorry, I've missed the goal. The second goal, Harvey Barnes again. Anthony Gordon and Walter Marder, that little bit of interplay where Gordon knocks the ball in, Walter Marder, that deft little touch sort of threw back to Gordon to run into space. I mean, took out three, 4 players. Gordon's lovely little ball through to Harvey Barnes to slot under the keeper, and that was their day done. After that, I say they came off for Elanga and Asula, and there was a standing ovation for both of them, because that second half they were excellent. Voldemort really grew into the game. He's starting to look such a player. No goal for him tonight, but particularly the second half, I thought his interplay with the players around him and understanding. I think that there was a little bit of a lack of understanding with the wide players at the weekend against Brighton. I thought there was much more of that tonight, particularly with sort of Murphy in second half again with Gordon was just excellent. And then even going into the 90th minute and into injury time, I thought it was really telling that Newcastle continued to try and get forward. They continued to try and score more goals. Botman has a header saved well from June from a corner, and then from the follow-up cross, Joe Willock's so unlucky to not be able to get on the end of that. That would have been a brilliant one, having just come on as well. After he'd come on literally seconds before for Bruno. Again by Tune, who was on, I think he had 6 or 7 saves tonight. He had to be on form just to keep the score down in the end. And then I don't know who had a 30 or 25 yard Dan Burn volley on their bingo card tonight, but that would have capped the night off completely, as he takes a ball down on his chest, volleys it towards goal, and again it's well saved by the keeper. And that was that. Back-to-back Champions League wins. Another defeat for Jose at St James's Park. Almost feel sorry for him in that regard, but yeah, what a really good game. What a really good performance and an excellent result. And I think it puts Newcastle. Does it put them into 9th? I think in the table for the Champions League now. 2 wins. I say it's a really good platform to be in. Sorry, they're up to 7th in the table now. So 2 wins from 3, 8 goals scored, only 2 conceded, 2 clean sheets, isn't it? On back to back. It's a really promising start, and there are some tough games coming up as well. But yeah, just an all-round brilliant performance tonight. Some really good performances. Let us know who your man of the match is in the chat as well. And I'm going to try and get to some of these messages. So bear with me, because there are an awful lot of them tonight. So George in the chat, good evening, mate. Murphy was outstanding. Miley and Ramsey so sure too. I completely agree. I thought those two, particularly coming into the side tonight for Tonali and Jolet, I thought were sorry, for Elanga and Jolet were excellent. I thought Miley was really good. I'm just looking up his stats. Some of the scoring for these online things they drive me crazy, because Bruno got a 6.7 tonight, and I thought he was excellent. Miley the same, Ramsey the same, and I thought they were all really good. Valdemar's got a 6.7 in second half, particularly. I thought was really good. So I don't get into all of that. But Miley again barely gives the ball away. 37-41 passing. Accurate passes in the final third as well, 6 from 6. He got really into the game, and he moves the ball really well. He doesn't. Yes, he does things simply, but sometimes that's the best thing. You don't want somebody overplaying, giving the ball away too much. You've got other players that are going to take those risky passes. You want somebody that's going to be able to move the ball really well. Go back to somebody like Michael Carrick, who I'm not going to compare the two right now, but he never did anything spectacular, I guess, but he was so effective in what he did. So yeah. Gordon ran that from Nick Axie evening. Gordon ran that, and Baltimore fantastic with a link of plate. Yeah, completely agree with that. FIFA Street Vibes from Big Net. Absolutely, some of those touches were unbelievable in the second half. Tide looks like Pope's shoulder injury is okay then. I don't think there was any worries about that at all tonight. Stephen, can War Flags do a display for Nick Pope? Throw the ball in. Yeah, look, if he's throwing, you've got to hand it to him. If his throwing's better than his kicking, just throw the ball, mate. Just throw the ball. It is telling at times sometimes, actually, when he's got the opportunity to pass the ball out, and he will roll it or throw it rather than pass it. And he knows his own downfall or his own weaknesses in that regard. But yes, that throw was special. I think lucky, I guess, with the Benfica play, but the ability to throw that forward that accurately, brilliant. Whole black and white through. Well, that was NUFC playing as an 11 here. Hello, Smiling Toon Army. Damn good result. Absolutely right, mate. And yeah, not 1 to 11, because they go up to 67. Squad numbers crazy, but yeah, they were. I think really all in all tonight, all really good. Chippers has been a member for 12 months. Thank you very much for your continued support as well. Baltimore, and I can't lie. Can always rely on you for comments like that, Chippers. Thank you very much. George has gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much, mate. That is insanely generous of you. That's really good. And just to be outdone, Marcus has gifted 50 memberships tonight. So I'm blown away. Thank you again. Thank you so much for your support. You two are unbelievable. As is Dan in the super chat with a super chat. How need to start Ramsey and Miley more often? I mean, I agree. I mean, there will be games, and Chris talked about this at the weekend. There are games where Joe Litton will be much more suitable for. But Miley is so assured on the ball, and I think shows tonight actually when you've got a player like that in that role, and the way that Ramsey performed as well. I thought he was very good with his press. He's not the best on the ball, a little bit like Joe Litton, but he will work damn hard as well. And it allowed Bruno to get into those forward areas again. He's so much more effective in and around the area where he can play those balls. So there are a number of little passes that he was able to play through that probably Newcastle should have countered better, and we were able to create better chances. But yeah, I thought he was really, really good. Super chat from Antagonizing. Thank you very much, mate. How are the lads? Hoy that up your ass, and CS has gifted 5 Evermore members. Mikey, the membership gifts are going crazy tonight. So thank you very much for all your support with that. That's unbelievable. As Chris says in the chat, he's somewhere in his car, I believe, having been to the game. Christ, Marcus. Yes, I think we'll echo that completely. Is Chris? Chris, I think, did you project 2? I think you might have done. But I think you maybe got the result right, but not the score. We'll give you points for it, Chris. Let's have a look. Yeah, two Guru lads can hold their head up tonight. Outstanding performance. Yeah, Ray, I think Anthony Gordon, man of the match for Newcastle tonight. I would have absolutely no complaints with giving it to Anthony Gordon tonight. I'm still thinking about mine. There's a couple that I maybe could give it to. So I will continue to think about that as we're going, and I'll come back to that. As Chris says, Miley going to the game second half has the ability, just needs confidence. Only 19, so loads more to come. Completely agree with that. I mean, I love watching Lewis Miley play. Yes, and we've said this about the likes of Hall and Livramento as well. They're still young. They're still going to make mistakes. They're going to get caught out of position at times. They're going to give the ball away. But my God, the future's bright for them. It really is. Chippers, we need the same on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, I think Chris talked about the Fulham game being the bigger game of the week, but I think the confidence that you kind of take from tonight is that the players can take into that game on Saturday and really kind of put their foot on the throat and confident going into the game and win again. I don't think there's any. There certainly should be no fear going into that game. Potentially that would be with some of the results that have gone on before. Croc, the super chat. Thank you very much. You're doing well, stepping up. Good job. Thank you very much, mate. Yeah, it's. I do find this difficult at times doing it on my own. I must admit, I'm not Chris. I haven't got his quick thinking, and he quite the gift of the gab that he has. But thank you very much again. Is that Zeomac? I'll mispronounce that completely. Bruno for me for man of the match. Yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 that you could happily give it to. I don't think there are going to be any wrong answers tonight in terms of man of the match. The difficult spelling, the difficult names. Is that Gears Tesla? Miley doesn't get flustered in his 4 thing. Yeah, again, one of the comments I got at the weekend was, I think, he doesn't give the ball away, but he only passes backwards and sideways. And I went back and counted those passes the weekend, and it was 24 passes out of his 34 34 passes. There were, I think, 6. Was it 6 and 8 backwards and sideways? One of those was an assist, and 5 of the backwards passes were all ones where he's played with players on his back. So the only place to go to keep the ball moving, keep the ball for the side, is backwards. You don't mind that so long as you move the ball well and you don't put players under too much pressure. Antagonizing. Good one. Nick never got another day. He didn't, but his overall place, particularly that second half, was really, really good. And Chippers, I think it's the first time he got. I mean, credit where credit is due tonight. I thought he did match it up really, really well. The way Benfica sort of set up with that 2 in midfield, with I think it's Rios and Barrenechea, the 3 that Newcastle played in that midfield just sort of outplayed them. Really, there were moments when they were able to break through the lines with the 3 that would be on them, but they weren't really, particularly second half, didn't really cause any threat whatsoever. The first half, once that was over, I think once Newcastle were able to regroup for that second half, it was really, really excellent. I just realised I haven't brought up any of the stats for tonight as well as I'm talking, so apologies. I'm only doing this in the background for Chris while he's talking. Baltimore is an entertainer. He absolutely is. He fits right in with that sort of play as well. He's really taken to the club. He's really taken to the league, into the way that Eddie Howe now wants him to play. It's particularly sort of visible watching him now. That first couple of games he wasn't quite on pace, although he played well. But he's pressing. He's getting in. He's really sort of part of that front line that Eddie Howe wants them to be high intensity for a lot of time. Tonight he was at it again. The team get man of the match really played as one. How defender plays. I mean, the number of chances when you look at it's 20 shots, 10 on target. And you've got the Botman header, Burns shot, Burns header that's cleared off the line, the one that's nodded down to Bruno. I mean, really, realistically, it could have been 5. And I don't think that would have flattered. I don't think that I really don't. I mean, yes, Benfica could have had a couple of goals in the first half, but I really think that, Newcastle probably should take those chances. The Miley header in the second half as well. He really, really should score that. But, we'll forgive him for that, because I don't think there's, at 3-0 in the Champions League at home on a night like tonight, I don't think you can complain too much. As George says there, that throw, fucking hell. Yes, absolutely right, mate. Yeah, we'll. I watch that again and again as a goalkeeper as well, and I like to throw the ball. I wasn't quite that good at it. I was no Schmeichel, that's for sure. But that throw was, and it was good thinking, good quick thinking from Nick Pope as well. And sometimes I particularly criticise Newcastle goalkeepers, because I've always felt that sometimes they're not quick enough to think like that. I used to scream at Tim Krul for the same thing when there was acres and acres of space for Ben Arthur on a wing, and Krul would hold on to the ball for so long. And we've seen that a little bit from Nick Pope at times. He's hesitant, but my God, when he does launch it like that, his arm's a bit of a cannon, isn't it? In the chat, no team in the world would have won here today. I think just the way they play. I think again, first half that it was really even. Second half it was pretty one-sided. But I think you give anybody a game today, whether that's PSG. I think who scored 7 today. I think Barca scored 6 today. PSV. I've just noticed this. PSV beat Napoli 6-2. That's an insane result. Sorry, that got off track. But yeah, I think anybody would have found it difficult at St James's today. I don't know if anybody's watching that was at the game as well. I felt that the atmosphere was a little odd. I sort of thought early on it was great, and then I think as Benfica kind of got a little bit more control that first half, that the atmosphere died down a little bit again, and then it built. Obviously, second half it was fantastic once the goals were going in, but. It was a little bit up and down, and I guess you're gonna have those ups and downs. But there were moments, and I don't know whether it's just the TV coverage where you really could hear the Benfica fans quite clearly. But ultimately, that doesn't. I guess that doesn't matter when you come away with a 3-0 win. As Marcus says there, Pope could be like a quarterback and change the game with this. So I tell you what, having watched some of the quarterbacks in the NFL this season, some of them are pretty poor. I think Nick Pope would probably do quite a good job. Julie J in the chat could eat in the chat. Good, too many J's. Julie J in the chat. Bruno's best game for a long while as well. Yeah, look, I thought he was excellent tonight. I think Gordon probably shades my man of the match. I've had a bit of a think about it. Bruno's there. I think it's one of those two for me that I thought he was into everything going forward. He won the free kick. Probably should have had a penalty as well. Those balls through the line that he was playing, he was battling with the two central midfielders for Benfica as well. I just thought he was really good tonight, and he didn't look tired tonight. As much as we sort of looked at the weekend, and he looked really, really leggy. He looked tired. He looked like he'd been away on international duty. And tonight he looked a new lease of life to him, and I thought he was really, really good. Laser in there. Thank you to the wonderful person that gifted him membership. Yeah, I think there's plenty of those tonight. So yes, again, thank you. James in the chat, good evening, mate. Could we get 3 wins at home in a week? Fulham and Spurs both were. Yeah, absolutely are. The Spurs in the cup. I do wonder whether there will be a bit more rotation for that game. Will it be in the cup, or does Eddie do what he did against Bradford and go full strength all out to win? I think, again, put your comments in how you think the lineup. I think obviously the a little bit of fresher legs with Tonali at the weekend, having tonight off. Hopefully he's fully recovered for the weekend. But yeah, there's definitely the potential for more rotation for next week. Let's have I'm going to scroll down a few. So apologies, I'm missing some of these comments. How do you get Brent? It's quite easy. You just take it off the top of the microwave and put it on the bench. It's a nice little hidey place for it under there. So yes, I do need a green screen, and then you can stop looking at my kitchen behind me. That's nobody wants to see that. It is nice and well, apart from the work laptop behind us, it is nice and tidy for once. When I've been involved, and it says here, Whistle will be like a new sign as well, and a really, really important one as well for rotation and for changing the style and the way that the Newcastle can approach games. That we can't just be one-dimensional, and because Voldemort and Whistle are so different in their approach to the game. So I'm just laughing at Chipper's comment. Is that a yeah? Thanks very much, mate. Because they're so different, it does give Newcastle a huge number of options to be able to change the way that games go, and if things aren't going right, to change their approach. So it will be brilliant when he comes in. I get that the bit of a joke, be like a new signing, but I sort of understand what you mean. Having not played yet, he still is, but it's going to be a big impetus when he comes in. I really do think. Because Kevin put, when will Whistle be back? Well, that's the question. I think they're looking. Was it the next international break? So it's into November. Or as Julie puts in here, back for the West Ham game in 10 days' time, 11 days' time. I mean, you don't want to rush him back, and while things are going well, you definitely don't want. But if he's training on grass, he's back to getting back into full training again soon, then hopefully for him he's back into that squad. And like I say, just give other options. There's Daniel in the chat. Good evening, mate. Hope we can get a bit of Nasty in Miley. He's got it all. Just a bit more aggression to play the 6. Yeah, a little bit. I think there was a bit of that second half. There was one moment where he sort of got into a tackle with, I can't remember who it was. He got into it with, but I don't think he's scared of that. What's that moment? Was it the end of last season against West Ham where he got stuck in? It might have been the season before. My brain can't remember those things very well, but he does get stuck in. I think it was the Harvey Barnes goal, wasn't it, against West Ham in that comeback, where it would have been not last season, the season before, but he really got stuck into a chance. So that it is there with him, and he's a lot bigger. He looks a lot stronger now than he was, and I think that part of his game will come. There'll be a little bit of nastiness. There will be a bit of strength used in that, and I think he will be excellent. As Chris put in, Luton. Sorry, was it Luton? Was it? I apologise. Roger's in the chat. Good evening, mate. Another one with a free membership. So good evening, Stacey. Vincent Miley isn't a 6 though. He's one of those that I think I haven't quite figured out what he is, but I think he can play that double double pivot with probably Tonali. He looked really comfortable on his own in that central sort of role tonight in the three. But I think if Newcastle want to play with a sort of double pivot in there with Bruno, maybe sort of one of the others further forward, I think that could work too, and he can work well. Tonali worked very well in a two when he played for Milan, and I think he could replicate that quite well at Newcastle with Miley alongside him. But he is excellent, and I just love the way that he's so calm and so assured on the ball as well. So, absolutely, and yes, Kevin, I do think he is adaptable. I think we've seen he's very adept at staying in that deeper role. But we've also there were moments tonight where you saw him press and you saw him get higher up the field. We've seen him pull out wide. To play there. He's great in and around the box. We've seen the assist that he had in the Champions League the last time round, where he can get in and around the box, and I think more of that, more confidence in him, and we'll see more of that as well. I love this. Whitley Bay, lads. Big shout out to Whitley Bay. There we go. Currently from Whitley, well, grew up in Whitley Bay, now back living in Whitley Bay. I'm very happy around. I think there we go. We all want to see Mark go from kitchen cupboards to studio as pod. Thank you. I'm not entirely sure I would classify myself as a badass. My wife may disagree. I'm sure I think everybody will disagree with that comment. But yes, I would like to give you a better visual than my kitchen cupboards, although it's a different kitchen these days as well. But we'll get back to the We'll get back to the game. I think just sort of final thoughts. I think, as I said, I think man of the match. I think for me, I think Anthony Gordon probably shades. I think overall, I thought he was brilliant tonight. Really on top form. Bruno, those are the performances we want to see from him, and Gordon too. That's the level. That's the bar. If you're going to set the bar at that high, you have to be hitting that more often than not. And going into the weekend, we need to see if Anthony Gordon is playing, then Anthony Gordon has to put a performance at that. And again, he has to work that hard. He has to be as available for the ball and create the chances. And this is, like I said earlier on, and it's what Chris said at the weekend, those wingers have to create chances. They have to put the ball in the box. They have to create assists. They have to get into position to score goals. And we've got an assist, goal, and 2 goals, and all of them combining tonight, with Barnes with 2 goals, Gordon with a goal and an assist, Murphy with the assist as well. That's what we want to see. We need to see Anthony Elanga do the same. He hasn't quite hit the ground running. There's definitely a player there. There's definitely talent in Anthony Elanga, and we need to see that from him as well. But Jacob Murphy does what Jacob Murphy does effectively. He's come in tonight. He's hit the ground running and created chances and assists. So it's good to have. And I guess this is a point where Newcastle haven't been over the last couple of years in terms of squad depth. We're starting to see the squad depth, the squad develop. There are now opportunities for those players, and the fact that Elanga was taken out tonight because he wasn't particularly good at the weekend. Murphy comes in and has a good game. That puts Elanga on notice that he's not guaranteed his place. He would have been at Forest probably. But he has to get into gear and start picking up those performances. A few more comments in here. Roger in the chat again. Barnes showed what he can do. Yeah, absolutely. We've said it as well. Barnes is a good finisher. He gets into those positions, he should be scoring goals, and he's proved that he can do it again tonight. Dean thought the Miley and Ramsey were class tonight. Agreed completely. Bruno ran the show. Gordon was absolutely menace all night. Chuffer has gone off for the brilliant Barnes when he came on. Yeah, again, I think Anthony Gordon almost wasp-like at times, isn't he? He when he's on that sort of form. And yeah, I thought he was really good. Sorry, I've clicked the wrong one there. Breaking news, Alexander Isak threatened to go and strike at Liverpool unless they sign Jacob Murphy in January. Grass ain't always greenest, son, is it? It's really not. Yeah, it's probably a good place to leave it too. But no, look, it was a fantastic performance tonight, particularly that second half. I thought that was excellent. Keep your comments coming in. Obviously, if you're watching after we finished the live, keep your comments coming in. Please remember to like the video before you leave tonight as well. If you are new to the channel, it won't always be me. It will be me at the weekend, funnily enough, because Chris is at the game again. So you will get me after Fulham on Saturday afternoon. But if you are new to the channel, please stick around. Please hit the subscribe. We are getting closer and closer to that 12,000 mark. We're obviously just over 11,700 subscribers now. So again, thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you again to all of those who've got involved tonight with your chats, your super chats, your gifted memberships, your renewed memberships. It still blows my mind. I'm baffled by all of your support, but we love it, absolutely love it, and I cannot thank you enough. But yes, go and enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a drink if you want one. If you're not, I saw somebody one of the chats earlier on. Somebody won a bet tonight as well, so you must be enjoying the night too. Enjoy the rest of your evening, your morning, your afternoon, wherever you are in the world, because I know some of you aren't from the UK. Enjoy it, drink it in. We'll see you back for probably the Fulham preview towards the end of the week, and then we'll be back live on Saturday afternoon for the post-match from Fulham. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Celebrate. They have done it.